Less than 24 hours left. That's all before Road UFC Season 5. Now it's serious, man. And we got two massive bantamweight semi-final fights. India's Chongren Kuren takes on Japan's Ryo Tajima, and Nepal's Rabindat faces undefeated Kasim Mudos. Man, two fights, four fighters, and one question, man. Who's going to Road to UFC Season 5? Today I'm giving you my final prediction, and before these fights happen, and not just who I think wins, but who I think in these fights actually plays out, like how these fights are gonna play out, what each fighter needs to do, and the biggest danger on both matchups. So I think we should get to let's straight into this one. So before we get into the individual fights, remember what's at stake here. Road to UFC isn't just another MMA event, man. It's just something like this tournament where like every fight can completely change a fighter's career. Guys, every fighter dreams for it. You win, you are one stop closer to UFC contract. You lose, and the tournament runs out for you. And that's why I don't think either of these fights can be judged simply by looking at the records. Matchups matter, man. Their style of fighting and the styles matter. Who can impose their game matters. And the most importantly, who stays composed when the fight doesn't go according to your plan. So, I think let's start. Let me start with an individually, like how these fights can play out, and in the perspective of an individual fighter. Let me start with Koren first, Chungren Koren. So Chungren Kuren versus Ryo Tajima. This is very interesting matchup because both fighters have a strong grappling background. Tajima comes into this fight as a Pancrase champion. If you guys don't know, Pancrase is a big organization, and he was in champion there, and he built a reputation around wrestling and grappling and controlling their opponents. And Kuren, meanwhile, has also shown that he wants to use his wrestling and physical to dictate where the fight takes place. But the key question is gonna be in this fight is who gets the first takedown. Honestly, this is going to be the main key question. The first thing I'm watching here in this wrestling battle, who gets the first takedown, because I think that's going to tell us a lot about how this fight is gonna play out and how this fight is gonna develop. If Koren gets a Tajima takedown and easily establish top control, suddenly Tajima has to spend energy defending instead of attacking. This is gonna work in the favor of our boy Koren. And but if Tajima can reverse these positions, control Koren and force him to work underneath, then the whole dynamic changes completely for Chungren Koren, man. Then completely change for him. And the most important part, even in the takedowns and all these things, comes scrambling, like how their scrambling ability is, like how they can do. And there's another thing I really want to watch, because this might not be the fight where one guy simply takes the other guy down and holds him there for 3 rounds. Um, these are two fighters who are comfortable grappling, like their striking is also like okay, but they are more comfortable grappling. So every takedown could be become a scramble. So every takedown could become a reversal. So and every reversal like completely change a whole round and your perspective of the fight, like how this fight is going on. So this is the thing about the scrambling and the grappling. When it comes to striking, I don't necessarily think this fight will turn into a crazy kickboxing battle from the opening bell. But that's exactly why the striking could be important. If either fight can make the other person respect their hands and they create opportunities for the takedowns, that's MMA, man. That's MMA. You don't need always to land huge combinations, and sometimes you just need your opponent thinking about your punches halfway of the half a second longer, and then half second can be a difference between getting shifted and getting takedown. So if I have to predict, this fight, if I have to give my prediction, if you ask me like Musarraf, what's your prediction about this fight? Man, I'm confused because as an Indian, I'm obviously supporting Chungren and Kuren. But as an analyst, as an MMA creator, I think this is a very competitive fight. But I'm leaning toward Ryo Tajima, man. My prediction is Tajima by decision. I think his experience against strong competition and his ability to work through grappling exchanges give him a slight edge. But I'm not saying that Kuren has no chance, far from it. If Kuren can establish his wrestling early and keeps Tajima against the cage, wins the physical exchanges, and if he can make Tajima work constantly, this prediction can be completely flip, man. Like I'm not 100% double down on Tajima, but that's what my gut feeling saying. And that's the biggest key for Kuren also. Like don't let Tajima dictate the rhythm. Make him fight your fight, not other way around. So like this is my prediction for the first fight, Ryo Tajima versus Chungren Kuren. And now I think we get into the fight that for me has one of the most interesting styles. Question for entire semi-final round. Nepal Rabindat versus the undefeated Kasim Mudos. And you know the guys, Kasim Mudos is um, like he is the fighter who's undefeated, training with Volkanovski, and like a lot of hype behind it. And he's trolling, man. He's like trolling Rabindat from the get go. Like as their fight announced, he's trolling Rabindat. He's trolling the fans of Nepal, like the fans of all Nepal. And honestly, he changed his bio, I think, to Nepal, I think. And yeah, he's doing some crazy shit for the Nepali fans. So Rabindat versus Kasim Murdo, this is the serious test for that, honestly. Murdoch entered this tournament with a perfect professional record. He's been one of the names like people have been watching closely in this betterweight bracket. But the biggest question is, can that stop Murdoch from turning this, into his kind of fight? Because I think Rabindat wants this fight to be his kind of fight, but not the other way around. So if Rabindranath wants to win this one, I think he needs to, um, he needs to pressure him. Like he likes to get opponents into an uncomfortable position, and then Rabindranath need to get his game going on and make this fight an exhausting one. So I think if I have to, if when I see this fight, like where that advantages are, so I think experience, yeah, I think experience is the first thing. He's not coming into this tournament as some unknown fighter. He's already proven himself in Indian MMA, like he already beat Chungren Kuren and MFN 18. He won belt there, and he has shown like his top game, it like can be a dangerous one for Kasim Murdoch. So I don't think that's should try to completely avoid grappling. Instead, I think he needs to be smart about when he grapples. Honestly, so and grappling is going to be the important part for that, and I think he needs to be smart when he grapples. And if I'm that, like I'm in corners that, and I'm thinking, make Modoj work before he give him, your best grappling exchanges. Don't rush into extended ground battles. Use the striking, create reactions, and force Murdo to respect what's coming from that. If that cannot like give him like make him respect him, I don't think the thing's gonna work for him. And when the takedown opportunity appears, I think um, attack it on that terms, like not like how Murdoch want it. Go on your own terms, like how you want it. But if I have to talk like where are the dangerous, like for that, like where that need to be careful, where Rabindra need to be careful. Murdoch is undefeated, man. We all know that he's undefeated. And when you are fighting someone who hasn't lost yet, like you don't want to give them confidence early. And Murdoch he has a confidence, like he never lost, and he's training with some of the best fighters out there, like Volkanovski. So if Murdoch get an early takedown, control the position, and I start building momentum, that could fight himself like spending too much fight defending, man. Like मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि he is gonna defend more if he let Murdoch do his thing, and that's dangerous for Rabindat, man, because suddenly the fight isn't about like who's the better individual technique. It's it's about who can maintain their game plan for 15 minutes. So in this fight, if I have to predict, like if you ask me like what's your prediction in this one, Musharraf? So like personally, I am an Indian and Nepalis are our brothers. I support Rabindat. Like I want him to win this fight, and honestly, like if my dream fight is Rabindat versus Chungren Kuren in the final, but man, this one is difficult. My heart says that, but if I have to make prediction purely from the matchup, I'm going with Kasim Murdoch. I think Murdoch's grappling pressure gives him the edge, and my prediction decision by Murdoch. Yeah, Murdoch by decision. But I would absolutely not be shocked like if Dutt pull this off because he's that good. And because if Dutt can stay composed, defend the first wave of wrestling, and make Murdoch pay like when he comes forward, this becomes a completely different fight for both these guys. So and yeah, my final picks definitely. In Chungren versus Ryo Tajima, I'll go with Ryo Tajima, and Rabindat versus Kasim Murdoch, I'll go with Murdoch by decision. I'm predicting Japan versus New Zealand to advance, but here are interesting part. I think either fight is either fighter is not guaranteed to win this one. So yeah, this is my analysis, and this is before like only I think few hours left now in the fights, like almost 10 less than 10 hours maybe. So yeah, and like I think if you want my upset, like two upset alerts, the first one is Chungren Kuren, obviously. If Kuren's wrestling is better than Tajima, I expect he can constantly put Tajima on the back foot. He has very real part to winning this fight. And the second is obviously Rabindat because that has a kind of grappling like game that he can completely change the fight. Like if he gets on the top, start controlling the position. So yeah, I have already give you my predictions, and yeah, guys, yeah. Thank you for man watching this fight, and if you have like your opinions and like drop your predictions in the comment section. What do you think, man? And if you are supporting Korean, that Indian MMA, Nepali MMA, or just an MMA in, as a journal, make sure to subscribe Fight Buzz. And these are my honest opinions, man, about these fights. I'm not giving these opinions just to I'm giving it clearly on my perspectives and my understanding of the game. And I don't know if you like these predictions and my honesty, but if you do, please make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you in our next video. Till then, peace out.